with my wife and my one daughter. So my options were to stay where I was and kind of remain stagnant, or try to do something on my own. And I've always wanted to do something on my own, and prove to myself that I could run my own business and grow that business and grow it successfully and profitably. And that's kind of where we are 8.5 years later, and enjoyed the ride, and been a great, I wouldn't, it's been a good success for us. And, looking forward to 8, 10 more years.
And hey Jay, talk to me about what other opportunities, because I always like to think about, I've been doing this for a long time, so obviously you were looking at other opportunities, but what other opportunities or industries were you looking at, and why did SpeedPro appeal to you and to making you move forward with SpeedPro?
It really wasn't industries I was looking in. It was types of business I was looking at. I really had three criterias. I wanted to be able to go to my customer. I didn't want to hang a shield out front and say, here I am, come to me, or spend a lot of money trying to drive consumers into my location. I wanted to be able to go to my consumer. So really wanted to be to B2B relationships. I wanted to be able to produce a product. Secondly, my natural path in what my past career was maybe look at a distributorship, or lines that I could sell into Best Buy or Target and kind of be an independent rep. And that would have probably been the most natural fit and the easiest fit. But then you're reliant on other people for you to be successful. And then last, I did not want to rely on teenagers to run my business. So that eliminated a lot of franchises. So those were the three criterias. And I looked at a lot of companies, from welding companies to cabinet companies to SpeedPro. And the reason why I ended up going with SpeedPro is that I really enjoy graphics. I enjoy signage. It's an easy product to sell if you've got a good quality product and a good solution for your customer. And my parents, when I was growing up, owned an awards and an embroidery business in Des Moines, Iowa. And so they're not too far different. So I had some level of knowledge there, and some expertise at home that my father could help me with as I grew the business. So those are really the reasons why I've gone into SpeedPro.
And so just so everybody on the call is clear, and the future folks that listen to this, are you from Minneapolis, St. Paul, born and raised? Did you move there? Have you always lived there?
No, consumer electronics took me all over the U.S. I was born and raised in Des Moines, Iowa. And then after college, moved to Chicago. And Sony moved me to Kansas City, to Chicago. And then LG, I went to Richmond, Virginia for Circuit City when they were still around. And then after that, I moved to Minneapolis with LG still. And so we've been here for 12 years now. So moved all around, and it's certainly not my hometown, but it is now.
Got it. So and I always want to ask this, because I feel like your story is very similar to a lot of folks, right? They're more comfortable moving forward with a franchise in your type of scenario because they're not from the Minneapolis, St. Paul area. And
Yep.
they utilize the network of SpeedPro to help, because you already have an existing footprint. Talk to us a little bit about that, and maybe the initial support that you got when you moved forward with SpeedPro.
We had a couple people in place when I bought the business that had some knowledge, but we certainly leaned on SpeedPro for all kinds of stuff, from education on how to run the business, to education on the equipment, to education on materials and all that great stuff, and still use the SpeedPro franchise today for discounts on equipment, discounts on substrates and products we print on, inks, and all kinds of things like that. And also less about the industry and what printers to buy and things like that, as we've been at it for quite a while. but still a ton on the owner's network when we have problems that need solutions quickly. That has been invaluable for me.
Yeah, it's interesting. I came from Fast Signs, right? So I was with them for 10 years, and because their territories are so small, I feel like they're always competing with one another in regards to customers and maybe even people that work for them or do installations for them. Jay, our territories are pretty big, but can you talk to us a little bit about competition and about maybe your relationship with other speed pros and maybe the competition in your local market?
I've rarely run into anybody Speed Pro that is existing Speed Pro customer in our area, and the territory is very vast. I mean, if we have a customer that wants to do business with us in St. Louis, Missouri, and has a relationship with me from a past life, or somebody that had been working in Minneapolis with us and had moved down there to a different business and wants to work with us up here, very happy to do that. And everybody in the Speed Pro franchise understands that. And it's, go out and get the business you can get. We're not actively selling it next door to our other Speed Pros, that's for sure. But there is competition in this industry, but it is, I don't want to say it's easy, but it is, if you put the work in and you put together a good strategy, you have some good employees, you treat your customers well, you price your product fairly, and you do what you say you're going to do, it's easy to gain customers in this industry, because people are, in the B2B world, people are looking for a partner that is reliable, quick, with quality graphics that they can trust. Price is important to them, but it's not the most important thing. They'd rather be able to go to their client, or if it's an ad agency, or they'd rather go to their boss. If it's a B2B direct relationship, and know that the job is going to get done and done well, then nickel and dime somebody. So there is tons of competition. It is competitive, but if you're buttoned up, you know what you're doing, you're going to make headway and you're going to grow your business.
Yeah, hey, Jay, I always tell people, and this is pun intended, right? Like, it's a very sticky business, and that, if you do a good job, you meet their deadline, it's a professional product or project that you've completed, your customers most likely are not going to be shopping you around afterwards. And that's why this being a relationship driven business is so important. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, 100%. And the ones that we end up having that are price shopping tend not to be the customers for us, and that's okay. They're probably going out to those Vista prints and those types of places and doing online business. The ones that want to have a relationship with a printer and somebody that has recommendations of the right product for the right solution are coming to Speed Pros and other print houses that are local. So yeah, absolutely. It is extremely sticky, and relationships really do matter in this industry. We run, past 3 years, we've run a little bit of a campaign as far as sales, but most of our growth is through word of mouth and people moving around to other jobs and dragging us along with them. So you don't just open up and that starts, but once you start building a reputation, that is one of your best sales reps and tools.
I totally agree. And customer acquisitions, everybody on this call or anybody in the future listening to this, customer acquisition is the most important when you want to grow. And because you don't know who's going to stick around, who's going to be that consistent, revenue base, consistent customer base. So that's why the first couple of years into all of this, doing the whole shaking hands, kissing babies is very, very important. All right, Jay, I want to talk through a couple projects that you've done. And I'm sharing a screen right now that is a picture of the American Dream machine. It also has mortgages and munchies. So can you talk to us about how you got this and then what you did for them? And then I want to bring up maybe one or two more and then kind of go from there.
That was for a local realtor firm that we had done some signage for in the past, and they decided to outfit a kitchen and then take it to open houses and other events that they might be involved in, and then cook stuff for mainly cookies and pies and things like that to draw crowds in. And they came to us and saying that they had this idea, what would you recommend and how would we recommend branding it? And from there, they bought this trailer, outfitted it. We were involved in how the metal and aluminum was skinned on the outside so that we could make it look the cleanest possible without a ton of rivets and a lot of seams. So we were really part of the process on this one from the very beginning, and turns out pretty nice. It's it's not really loud and wild and crazy, but it really tells you, it really draws your eye in. And on the other side, it kind of tells you a little bit more about what they're doing, because that's where that window is where they would serve the cookies.
Yeah, I think I love this because you probably got your foot in the door doing just pretty simple projects, and then once again we talk about this being a sticky business. Once you got that business initially, now look at what you're doing for them, and who knows where they're going to go with not only this project but future projects. All right, so let's jump into real quick the next project that I have here. Hang on one second. And I think this is a good one to bring up, because I think the inside of buildings. So when I talk to individuals, and you're driving down like an industrial parkway or even just like a building, it doesn't look very sexy or glitzy, but what you've done here. So this is the Deer Rochester Drive a Champion. You've got a hallway completely wrapped. Talk to us about that, Jay.
So this is a gentleman that I met, 7 years ago. He started off, he was at Tampa Bay Lightning, moved back to Minnesota, where his family was from, and he started a business that focused pretty much on ice arenas. And being in Minneapolis, pretty good, area to focus on because there are many of them. And he went in and started selling dasher boards. And dasher boards are polycarbonates that go up on the side of hockey rinks that do advertisements. And from there, he started going out to the rinks that he was selling dashers to and saying, hey, we could sell walls, we can sell arenas, we can name the rights of the entire place. And since that, we've done about, 10, 15 of these projects. And this one's down in Rochester, Minnesota. And it's a neat project because we sold this portion of the arena to Toyota. There was another one that was sold to the Mayo Clinic. And what we've kind of done throughout the time of doing this is, you can see the red in that photo. That's all paint. And what we've done is we've decided to go in and say, we want to make a bigger impact. And, we want to, but when you're doing vinyl murals, every square inch is a cost and every square foot's a cost. So some of the stuff was getting really out of hand because they wanted things to go all the way to the ceiling, wrap pipes and things like that. And we decided to go in there and start painting it first, let it dry for a few weeks, 3-4 weeks, come back and then put murals on top of it and really work those murals into the paint. There's some other graphics that we did at some other locations that have a much greater impact than this one. But, this was turning a boring white hallway into a complete brand for Toyota, matching their brand standards with colors, and Toyota ad agency actually designed the wall murals. And then, I think it looks really nice, looks really elegant, and it tells the Toyota story. And as you go into the arena, there's a lot more branding behind Toyota, be it banners, dasher boards. We ended up putting stickers all the way around the bottom of the glass around the arena that has white ink printed on clear material, so it almost looks like it's etched into the glass there. And it has their brand, very subtle Toyota, and it just steps and repeats all the way around. So we've had a lot of fun with this client, and they continue to grow, and we continue to grow with them.
And Jay, I'm gonna get into your equipment in a second, because I love what you just said, white ink into a clear material. But let's do one more, because I love this photo. Hang on one second. Let me just bring this up. All right. I want to talk about the Zamboni here in a second. So let's just talk through this. What is this job? What did you guys do to get it? And I mean, maybe it was the same industry or kind of the same connection. But talk to us a little bit about this, the Minnesota Hockey Zamboni.
Yeah, same industry, same not the same arena, but this gentleman who we've worked with in the past, he's not into making money on printing. So once he does something, he usually turns us over to the arena, and we'll work with them moving forward. And this is a project where we worked with them moving forward in a couple ways, but the group there, TCO, is a local orthopedic company, and we work with them on a lot of work and projects, and this happened to be for them. But it's a wrap Zamboni. We do, I don't know, 5-6 of these a year, have a huge impact. People sit there and watch that Zamboni clean the ice and smooth the ice at least twice a game, and they like to get behind it, and the Zambonis are very visible.
All right, so Jay, talk to us now about, so you bought an existing SpeedPro, but talk to us about, the growth that you had, maybe what you were when you bought it, and then what you've created today, and maybe what you've added, maybe staff, equipment, etc.
All right, so we bought it. It was somewhere around, I think, 700,000, and we were above $2 million last year in revenue. And we've added not a lot. We've added some staff. We've kept some, so we've got 5 guys, gals, myself, and my wife, so 7 people in total. We've added equipment and more things that are faster, have higher productivity than more. We've got 8 printers now opposed to 4. So we've just continued to add faster, more high productivity printers. So we've added printers, cutters. Another big thing we added like 4 years ago was a kitting capability of consolidating printings to send out to grocery stores, to send out to coffee shops, things like that. So large franchises or large multi-location retail establishments.
All right, so you talked about referrals. So there's a lot of people on this call that are going to hear this that they're starting from scratch. How would you generate or go into customer acquisition, Jay? A lot of these folks, they're not going to have business. They're not going to have, a reoccurring customer base. How would you, if you were to do this from scratch, how would you grow your business from day one?
From day one. Oh, good question.
That's what I'm here for, Jay.
Yeah, we've had a lot of success with the call campaigns where we've outsourced that cold calling to one of the SpeedPro preferred vendors, and they'll call and get us appointments. And from there, we either do a Zoom like this or we'll go in and meet with them. And we've had a lot of success with that. And when we did it the first year, we had a strategy of, here's a huge list of 2,000 businesses. We called all 2,000 businesses. We ended up getting, a lot of good calls, but not customers that we thought would be able to grow with. And so the last 2 years, and we didn't do it last year, we refined that list to specific industries that we wanted to target and really had them, call and try to weave their way into the marketing departments and find the right people to get meetings with and talk to. And then they would either hand that name and number over to us, or they would try to set up a meeting for us. We decided to go that route because we did have existing business, and I was busy running the existing business, and I didn't think it was a good use of my time to call 2,000 people. So we outsourced that. If you have the time, it's old-fashioned cold calling. Everybody loves the Chamber of Commerce's and your business breakfasts and groups like that. They haven't been real successful for us personally. We did them. They just didn't result in a whole lot of repeat business and good business as we'd see it. So we've always tried to go after our customers, and we focus on, I guess traditional like print brokers that sell T-shirts, that sell mugs, they sell small format brochures, they sell business cards, and part of that whole repertoire would probably be large format printing and other stuff that we do. So we focused on them, ad agencies, hospitals, and event planners. So those are really where we have a majority of our business.
And listen, man, I love that answer because, when you get into a market, you can't look at competition as competition. You got to look at, our competition as your strategic partnership. And if you look at it like that, you're going to work with all different types of businesses. Um, so let's take what you just said, Jay, and let's kind of let's move forward and talk about, well, okay, so marketing wise, referrals work, local pay per click. Are you participating in the match program? Are you doing anything like that?
We have not over the past 8 months because we were out 2 employees and filling positions in Minneapolis when unemployment rate was below 2% was difficult. And so we didn't want to grow our business while we were looking for employees. We finally brought the last person on about a month and a half ago, getting them up to speed. And so we're going to kick that back in. When we had it, it was working. And we're even seeing organic traffic and inquiries. So, if we're out there pushing it, I know it's going to even work more. So the organic inquiries are coming in more and more every month. So I know if we go out there and highlight ourselves, we're going to get more and more inquiries. And they seem to be getting better and better. They used to be, excuse me, they used to be a lot of, I have a white Toyota Corolla from 2002. I'd like to change it to a mirrored finish. Can you do that? It's just that those aren't types of customers we want. And so we got a lot of that. And now we've kind of moved and changed what we were doing. And we're getting less and less of that. We're getting more and more customers that really fit what we're looking for.
All right. So let's talk a little bit about what you would do differently. So again, a lot of folks on this call, Jay, and I've heard a lot of great positive things about you from Paul Brewster and none of the likes. And so tell me a little bit about what you would have done differently if you could, because I think people, can appreciate that because you are a very successful owner in our network. But what could you have done differently if you could?
Oh, wow. Tough question. I think I would have, when we bought the business, there was a heavy focus on wholesale work to other printers like Sir
Right.
Speedy, Minuteman.
Yes. Yes.
I think I would have tried to transition out of that quicker and gone to the agency work and even the more traditional print brokers, and also more B2B direct. It took us, better part of 3 years to get, I don't want to say flushed out of those people because we still do business with a lot of them, just get, so unreliant on them. So
Right.
it was just, they were difficult. They were quick turn projects. They weren't huge projects. They were onesie twosies. And it just, it took a lot of our time up to work with them. So I think I would have transitioned out of that wholesale type work a little quicker.
So yeah, so for a lot of the people on the call, so a lot of the retail, maybe the retail sign and graphic print, franchises, businesses, they used SpeedPro, as, hey, we could take on your large wide format graphics, but we're not producing them in house. They wouldn't tell their customers that, and then Jay would do that for them. Jay, I totally agree with you. Your margins aren't that high when it comes to that type of work, but the fact that we're non-retail, we can do that. All right, let's shift real quick. I got 2 questions left, and if anybody has a question at the end or currently right now, just type them into the chat function. There is one question that I will address at the very end, but has the SpeedPro opportunity met your financial expectations, Jay?
Yeah. It was, the first few years when you're learning and you're figuring it all out, it's difficult, but I think that's part of it. I mean, you don't start a business and expect to, maintain a higher level corporate position salary right away. But
Right.
at the end of the day, I have a pretty decent business right now, and the people that I are working with don't, and I can sell that when I retire for a very nice reward. So you have to take that in consideration too when you're thinking about owning a business. You're looking at your residual income month after month, year over year, but you're also building an asset. Yes, it has.
That's a great answer because I think a lot of people, and Jay, maybe you can, not getting into specifics, okay, but when people think about coming from corporate America, they're used to making X every 2 weeks. Well, when you own your own business, you're paying yourself a salary, yes, but then you're also paying yourself off your earnings, but then you're also running lifestyle activities through your business. Can you just talk to us briefly? You don't have to be specific, Jay, but talk to us a little bit about that.
Well, you're looking at pre-tax dollars. So yeah, right now I'm in my car on my cell phone. My car is paid for by work because I'm going to business meetings. My cell phone's paid for because I'm talking to all my clients. Those are big. Those are big chunks every month that you don't see in your paycheck as an owner. It goes out pre-tax. I think I have in my truck or at work that I can take home at any point in time any tool you'd ever want to maintain your house. So it is. There are benefits from being a small business owner for sure. We don't do any, a large amount of entertaining, but you certainly could. It's not necessarily frowned upon in the eyes of the government, but we definitely see some benefits from being business owners for sure. How you calculate that, I'm not really sure.
No,
I mean,
Jay, that's you've answered it perfectly. Because listen, everybody on this call, I've talked to them about that, right? Like they're used to it. They're used to how Uncle Sam takes their money out of their paycheck every month. This is just a different way of paying yourself when you own your own business. But when you actually calculate it, as a full circle, it actually makes a lot of sense. All right, I have one more question for you, Jay. So everybody on this call, look, they got to this point. I'd say we're all at the 50-yard line right now. Meaning that you like SpeedPro, you're intrigued by it, but you got to get to that next step. What helped you cross the finish line, Jay? What helped you execute your franchise agreement that maybe could help the people on this call make their final decision?
I mean, I knew all the details of what was going on with the business as far as purchase price, the dollars and cents behind it, what it looked like as far as due diligence. Sorry. I think at the end of the day, what got me past the finish line is complete faith in myself that I could do it and that no one was going to stop me from being successful. And
I like that. Yeah.
the harder I worked, the more reward there was. And I don't think there's always that in corporate America. I don't always think your idea is the one that they select to drive strategy. And, it was completely faith in myself.
Awesome. Well, Jay, anything else that you want to maybe leave with the candidates today or the candidates in the future? Again, as I mentioned, I record these and I like to send them to folks. I don't know if they did that in the past, Jay, but I think your answers and your history and your experience is going to help people making a decision like this.
Good.
All right. Well, thank you very much for everybody on this call, and I'm going to send this out to you. Some folks were late on this call, but I'm going to send the full recording out to everybody. But Jay, thank you so much, man. I appreciate you. I appreciate your responses. You did a great job, and I look forward to working with everybody in the future. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.